Okay, so our supervisory rules and responsibilities in organization form the operational backbone of public administration, translating policies, plans, and leadership directives into a day-to-day action. In government and public sector institutions, supervisors are not merely task managers, they are frontline leaders who ensure accountability, service quality, and ethical conduct while balancing human relations with performance demands. For example, for masters in public administration students, understanding supervision means recognizing how authority, responsibility, and discretion operate at the middle and frontline levels of bureaucracy where public services are actually delivered. At this point, I will allow the presenter to discuss the specific rules, functions, and frameworks related to supervision in organization. As you engage with the discussion, reflect on your own workplaces or field experiences and observe how supervisors influence employee motivation, compliance with rules, conflict resolutions, and service outcomes. Pay attention to how effective supervision can either strengthen or weaken public trust depending on how power and responsibility are exercised. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you, Doc, for the introduction. Good afternoon, and everyone. I am Hazel Z. Palasol, and today I will be presenting the supervisory roles and responsibilities in organizations. So this presentation is grounded on the management principles discussed in our book, The Executive Leadership and Supervisor. As you have shown on the screen, this presentation, we aim to understand the core responsibilities of a supervisor, develop the essential leadership skills, explore the challenges of supervision, and recognize the importance of continuous learning. So these outcomes emphasizes that supervision is both a technical and human-centered role that requires continuous growth. So if policies set the direction, who ensures they actually work on the ground? It is the supervisors, right? Now let's dig deeper into the importance of supervisory roles. As an overview, the importance of supervisory roles, first is the supervisors serve as the link between the management and frontline staff. Accordingly, supervisors ensure that the organizational plans are translated into the actual performance by ensuring daily operations, guiding employees, and helping teams achieve organizational goals efficiently. So in practice, this means that they monitor the progress, they provide feedback, and address challenges as they arise. And supervisors also act as mentors. They help develop the staff, their skills, and maintain focus on the priorities. So essentially, they balance the expectations of management with the realities faced by the frontline teams, ensuring both organizational objectives and employee needs are met. And on the task management, another importance of supervisory roles is for planning tasks and assigning work, no, setting priorities and monitoring productivity. So the book emphasizes that effective supervision ensures work is completed on time, with quality, and in alignment with organizational standards. So in practice, this means that the supervisors must anticipate challenges. They need to allocate resources wisely and provide guidance to help their teams perform at their best. They also play a crucial role in motivating the staff, addressing the issues promptly, and also maintaining the consistency in operations, making sure that both team performance and organizational goals are achieved. Beyond tasks, the supervisors develop people. So this includes training, coaching, and mentoring staff. Also providing constructive feedback and recognition. Even resolving conflicts and addressing concerns, and creating a motivating and supportive work environment. So the book highlights that employee development is essential to sustaining the organizational performance. And also the book emphasizes that the employee development is not just a nice to have. It is essential for sustaining organizational performance. So by investing in the growth of the staff, the supervisors ensure that the employees are capable, they are engaged, and also equipped to meet both the current and the future challenges, which in turn strengthens the overall effectiveness of the organization. So having recognized those importance of the supervisory rules in guiding, supporting and enhancing team performance, it becomes equally crucial to understand also the essential components of effective supervision that enable the supervisors to fulfill these rules successfully. Now let's talk about what are the essential components of supervision. So first is communication, no? There should be a clear explanation of goals and expectations. And there should be open and honest feedback, encouraging teamwork and collaboration, and adapting communication styles to individuals and situations. So the book stresses that the effective communication builds clarity, trust, and cooperation within the teams. So by communicating clearly and consistently, yung supervisors ensure that everyone understands the expectations, feels heard, and of course, no, works together toward the common objectives, which ultimately strengthen the team performance and organizational outcomes. So another essential component of supervision is the coordination and representation. Supervisors act as communication bridges, no, by relaying information between the staff and management. So they represent the team concerns, advocate for the employee needs, the team needs, and maintaining transparency, which the book identifies as the key to organizational harmony. So by effectively bridging the communication gaps, supervisors help ensure that both staff and organizational priorities are acknowledged and addressed. Another essential component of supervision is the decision making and ethics. So supervisors make timely decisions. We allocate resources effectively. We ensure the compliance with policies and regulations and model ethical behavior and integrity. So the book emphasizes that integrity and the ethical leadership strengthen credibility and trust within the organization. And by demonstrating fairness and accountability, supervisors not only guide their teams but also reinforce the organization's values, creating a culture of trust and professionalism. So another essential component of supervision is on the performance management. I think it was discussed by Sir Judy Mar kanina, no? That supervisors objectively evaluate performance. We identify the strengths and development needs rather than those mga pagkakamali, no? And even guide improvement and recognize talent. So accordingly, the performance management helps align individual growth with the organizational objectives. So by giving constructive feedback and acknowledging achievements, supervisors motivate employees. They close these skill gaps and ensure that both personal and organizational goals are advanced. So while understanding the essential components of supervision provides a strong foundation for the effective leadership, ang mga supervisors often face various challenges in applying these components in practice. So recognizing these obstacles is crucial to finding strategies that ensure supervision remains both effective and impactful. Now let's discuss what are the the challenges of supervisory roles. So the supervisors face challenges, no, such as managing diverse personalities, resolving conflicts, and balancing priorities, and handling pressure and uncertainty. So accordingly, meeting these challenges requires a combination of the key competences. So there should be that emotional intelligence. No, this allows supervisors to understand and respond effectively to the emotions and motivations and even the needs of their team members. And importante din po yung flexibility. This enables them to adapt strategies and approaches as situations change. And there's also a sound judgment that ensures that decisions are fair, timely, and aligned with the organizational goals. So by developing those skills, no, the supervisors can create and maintain a productive, positive, and even supportive work environment. So in doing so, they not only help their team succeed, but also ensure that both individual and the organizational objectives are achieved. So to address these challenges, no, the supervisors uh commit continuous learning and development. So there is a need to keep up with the best practices, develop leadership and technical skills. So with that, no, nag-a-attend tayo ng mga trainings and even workshops, and we also adapt to changing work environments. So by doing so, the supervisors not only enhance their own capabilities, but also foster a culture of learning and development within their teams, ensuring that performance expectations are met and that both individual and organizational goals are achieved. So given these challenges, the next step is to identify the tools that can help organizations navigate change more effectively and translate plans into actions. So what are these tools, no, to manage and implement change? As the book presented, there are uh, three organization aspects, no, that must be examined in order to integrate a new skill or modify behavior. So there's skills, systems, and culture. So skills, new abilities can be acquired, no, by individual, but they are used inside the organization. And the systems, this is the company might have or might not have that systems in place to effectively support and operationalize such abilities. And in under culture, no, the way that the company is run will also affect how well ones can use their talents. So does the process get facilitated or hampered by the principles and practices ingrained in the company culture? So every one of us struggles with how we bring the fresh knowledge led in organization through challenge or rally support for a novel concept. So think about the following circumstances on how authority influence and concern managing change. So let's start with the authority. Within what aspects of your job do you have the authority to make decisions and carry them out? What do you decide things alone and when do you involve other people? So accordingly, this includes how to assign resources, we carry out projects, tasks, and put plan into action to meet project goals. Within the parameters of the project, we are given. So we have the freedom to make decision as an individual contributor that guarantee timely completion and high quality results. And another one is influence, no? What aspects of the organizational decision making are you able to impact when you lack the final say? So how do you affect them? Through our knowledge, right? And observations and even connections inside the company, we can affect the decision making processes even though we might not have the last say in the organizational issues. So decisions can be influenced by our strategic advice, yung data-driven research and support of solutions na pinipresent natin during meetings, no, that fit the objectives and priorities of the company. And there's concern, no? Where are we powerless or limited, unable to exert any influence? Do we have power and influence? So however, we don't have in some aspects, hindi lahat, no, nasasakop natin, hindi lahat may ano tayo say, no. But especially, no, in senior leadership, where higher authorities may control organizational rules and processes. So may management pa rin, no, na yun, na sila yung uh, nagbibigay ng mga directives. So the book encourages supervisors to recognize these boundaries, no, para ma-manage natin yung mga changes effectively. So this leads us to an overview of the supervisory role where leadership meets daily operations. Now let's talk about these things. So first is to plan and coordinate team efforts. So the job is to direct and plan the efforts of the team members to guarantee that work is finished quickly and successfully, and support employee growth and well-being. Beyond overseeing the daily operations, yung supervisors are essential in guiding and enabling the staff members, such as promotion, yung career development, and even constructive criticisms. And also ensure productivity and quality. So the supervisors significantly influence the lives of the team members, like fostering the professional development and success, and advancing the company as a whole, and promote a positive work environment. Yung supervisor then has the duty of creating a welcoming and encouraging work atmosphere where everyone feels appreciated, respected, and free to give contributions. So this views that the supervisor is both a manager of work and also a leader of people. So with a clear understanding of the supervisory role, we can now outline the key responsibilities that come with it. So according to the book, there are four fundamental tasks of a supervisors. So as you have seen, no, there's planning, directing, organizing, and controlling. Now, let's start discussing about the first um task, which is planning. So planning involves evaluating the situation as it is, seeing the possibilities and obstacles, and laying out a plan of action to get into the intended results. And the book describes planning as the roadmap, no? Roadmap that guides organizational success. So how is it applied? So the supervisor prepares, no, kahit tayo, no, the supervisor prepares a monthly work plan, no, na that align with the regional and the national targets. I believe nakaka-relate ang lahat, no. And also we anticipate challenges sa mga field access natin, even sa mga staffing na gaps natin, and also builds contingencies into the schedule para malaman natin kung paano natin i-manage, no, if there are gaps. And third is to set clear, measurable targets for the staff, like the number of households na kailangan ita-target, no, ang mga number of reports na kailangan na isa-submit, kailangan meron tayo niyan. That's part of the planning, no? Evaluating the situation and seeing possibilities. Now, another a fundamental task is organizing. So what is organizing? It focuses on establishing rules and duties, developing processes and procedures, and efficiently allocating the resources are all part of this to maximize the output and performance. So accordingly, itong good delegation of duties and seamless communication and timely and efficient completion of work are all ensured by organization. So how is it applied? We assign tasks based on staff strength and workload capacity, right? May mga complementation tayo sa mga skills ng ating mga staff members. And also, we ensures availability of resources, yung tools, yung coordination, lalong-lalo yung kung kailangan ng mga transportation, no? Yung mga logistics, forms, and ICT support. And we, most importantly, no, we clarifies rules. So each team member knows what to do, when to do it, and with whom to coordinate, no? Parang walang sapawan ng ating mga team members. Okay, another one is directing. So, what is directing? This is the act of leading and directing people and groups toward the achievement or organizational objectives. So, according to the book, that effective directing inspires employees, no, and aligns their efforts with shared goals. So how is it applied? We usually conduct regular team meetings. Tama ba ako, no, to give guidance, to clarify expectations, and even address concerns. And also we provide coaching and mentoring, no, sa mga baguhan sa ating team. And lalong-lalo na yung yung mga newly hired staff natin, at saka yung hindi pa kapa yung mga trabaho nila. So we motivates also the team by recognizing good performance and maintaining open communication. So that's part of directing. Now let's talk about controlling, no? Controlling, it involves monitoring, assessing and changing organizational operations and performance to guarantee that objectives are being achieved successfully and efficiently. So the book explains well, no, that controlling keeps the organization on track and ensures efficiency. So how is it applied? Usually nagre-review tayo ng mga outputs, no? We read reports, we check the means of verifications na sinasubmit ng ating mga team members, and we even have field updates against our set targets. Then we also identifies mga gaps early, and we even implements corrective action. So kung may nakikita tayong mga gaps sa implementation, binibigyan natin ng mga interventions, no? Nagbibigay tayo ng coaching session, mentoring sa mga team members natin to ensure na yung mga targets natin nami-meet talaga. And we even, yes, no, we have adjustments even with our schedules. That's to ensure na makukuha natin yung gusto natin na target. And we also uses feedback and data to improve future plans and performance. And even these feedback are all documented, no, for the future, for future reference na pag meron another a round of activity or projects na ita-target, mas alam na natin kung paano gawain at alam na rin natin kung ano yung i-anticipate ng mga gaps natin. Okay, so in conclusion, no, to ensure the success of the organizations, effective leaders understand the need of striking a balance to all four fundamental tasks. They should know that controlling keeps the organization on course for its goal, and directing directs the trip, and planning offers the roadmap. So I think that's all from my report. Thank you for your time and attention. I hope yung presentation ko has enhanced your understanding of supervisory roles and responsibilities based on the management principles. That's all. Thank you for listening, everyone. Prof? I'm done po with my report po.
Thank you so much. Okay, again, supervisory rules in organizations require a careful balance between administrative control and human-centered leadership. Supervisors are responsible for planning work, guiding employees, monitoring uh, performance, and ensuring that organizational standards and policies are followed. No? In the public sector, this responsibility is heightened by legal mandates, budget constraint, and the expectation of transparency, making supervision a critical between policy intent and actual service delivery. A realistic example can be seen in a municipal office where a section supervisor oversees frontline staff processing permits or social services. An effective supervisor not only check compliance with procedures, but also coaches employees, manage workloads fairly, and address citizen complaints promptly. When supervision is overly rigid, delays and low morale may result. When it is supportive and fair, employees tend to perform better, and client experience more responsive and respect public services. For MPA students, supervision should be reviewed as a professional responsibility grounded in ethics, competence, and accountability. The strong supervisory practice contributes to organizational stability, workforce development, and public confidence in government institution. As future administrator, stability, and managers at the same time, your effectiveness will often be judged not by your title, but by how will you empower your teams, uphold standards and ensure that public resources and authority are used in the service of the common good. Okay, thank you so much, presenters.